What's good, you guys? This is RTA from YTSGaming, back at it again with another video. Today, we're talking about Batman Arkham Origins Remaster or Remake. There's a leak, so we're going to check it out.
The Arkham series is one of the best and one of the most critically acclaimed in gaming history. Arkham Asylum released in 2009. It took the industry by surprise. It quickly became one of the most popular comic book games of all time. Now, it was developed by Rocksteady, and this was followed up with Arkham City, which is commonly, it's in the running for best superhero game ever made. They concluded the trilogy with Arkham Knight in 2015, which some people will say is the best. Some would say it took a few steps backward, but it was still a solid game and a decent conclusion. But there was one more game in the series that is often forgotten. Welcome to Video Game Leaks, my friends. Today we remember it because we have some huge news when it comes to Arkham Origins and a remaster. And we've already talked about this once. Arkham Origins was...
Just have a question. How many of y'all actually played the old Arkham games? Arkham City, Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum. Who actually played those? My personal favorite is Arkham City. Let me know in the comment section what's your personal favorite if you played those games.
Was released in 2013 as a prequel to the entire series. It lets you play as the younger Batman in the early years of his career. Now, the story was great and the voice acting was top-notch. The gameplay, though, it was criticized. It was literally a copy-paste from Arkham City with very minimal improvement. Now, the open world, it was criticized. It was seen as being bigger for the sake of being bigger. It kind of slowed down the pace of the game. Perhaps the biggest nail in Arkham Origins' coffin was the technical state of the game itself. It was full of bugs. It never got patched up due to the developers not having time to work on them in order to...
Yeah, that's one thing about that game. I tried to play that game myself twice. And it seemed like I couldn't get past like the third mission because it's like I'm infinitely falling and stuff. I wonder if people actually beat that game. A remake or remaster would be great.
to finish the DLC. Now, we've got some good news. So, with all that being said, following the conclusion of the Arkham series, Origins, it was largely forgotten by Warner Brothers. They chose to focus on preserving the other games instead. Arkham Knight, given extensive patches and DLC, while Arkham Asylum and City were given remasters in order to make them playable on current-gen hardware. But what about Origins? Due to the decreased sales and review scores, Origins was largely thrown in the bin, and it really hasn't been preserved. But a few weeks ago, we got rumors about a possible remaster in order to help revive interest in the Arkhamverse ahead of the upcoming Suicide Squad game, which is going to be really good. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, it's going to be good. Reportedly been in development since 2012. Work has been extremely slow due to the expansion of the Batman games, as well as a plethora of behind-the-scenes issues. But the game, it's coming. It was reportedly canceled in 2016, which would explain why Rocksteady hasn't released a game in almost 8 years. But that's a video for another day. Why are we talking about that game? I thought we were talking about Arkham Origins, right? Well, the two games are connected. There are currently two Batman-related games in development, those being Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights. Now,
so this is in the same universe?
We got our first look at Gotham Knights about a month ago in reception. It wasn't great. The game looks very last gen right now, and people immediately started comparing it to the Arkham series, which wasn't exactly a favorable comparison. The Arkham franchise, it never really disappeared. People frequently talk about it. They replay it either through the original releases or the Return to Arkham Remastered Collection. However, Return to Arkham does not include Arkham Origins, as again, WB ignored the game. Now, despite this, the fanbase still mentions Origins from time to time, and there is a growing community of people who insist the game was underrated or judged too harshly. Now, before we move on, guys, get in on the Chaos Network giveaway.
Alright, so what we about to do, you know what I'm saying, make your money, man. But we're not here for that.
Rug, in terms of sale and reviews, huge step backwards from Asylum and Arkham City, and once Arkham Knight came out, nobody talked about it at all. Origins was the first big attempt at a big open world Batman game, but once Arkham Knight came out and did the open world way better, Origins...
Alright guys, so my audio had died. Not audio died, but my mic died. But basically, I was just talking about the difference between the games and the maps. I can't remember exactly what I was saying. I'm kind of blown that I even got to do this voiceover. But yeah.
was forgotten. But on the other hand, I understand why some people are upset that the game never got the love and respect, because it wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad as the review scores would make you think. Yes, it was buggy. Yes, there were some puzzling gameplay decisions, but the game as a whole, it was pretty solid. Just because it's not as good as Arkham City does not mean it was a bad game, and that brings us to the recent rumors of an Origins remaster. Following the slow growth of Origins' cult following, WPE has noticed. Then after Gotham Knights gameplay demonstration kind of left everybody uninspired, rumors started coming out that WB is now putting all their chips into Suicide Squad. Gotham Knights is supposed to come out this year, while Suicide Squad isn't going to drop until 2023, but Suicide Squad is technically a sequel to the Arkham franchise, which is a big deal since we haven't been in that universe since Knight back in 2015. The rumors, they're stating that following the failure of Gotham Knights gameplay reveal, WB is now full speed ahead with hyping up Suicide Squad instead. One of the ways they're going to do that is with the remasters and re-releases of previous titles, Arkham Origins included. I told you, they're all connected.
This is Blankos, the free-to-play multiplayer game where you can unlock, earn, and save.
The Return to Arkham collection is likely going to be re-released on the PS5 and the Series X, while Arkham Knight will get some kind of patch to get people playing it again. Where does that leave Origins? Well, if the Reddit leaker...
How many of y'all actually still play Arkham Knight? Let me know in the comment section.
Are to be believed. WB wants to get that game back out in the wild as well, but they're going to give it a remaster in order to get the visuals up to par with the other games. The Return to Arkham collection, it's not amazing looking, but it certainly looks better than Arkham Origins, and a simple backwards compatibility update, that's not the hype they're looking for. They're really trying to revive the Arkhamverse in order to distract us from the impending failure of Gotham Knights, apparently, so they're going to put all their effort into making sure everybody knows that Suicide Squad is an Arkham sequel. Plus, the Suicide Squad was...
I personally think this game might come out between November and possibly December, around Christmas time, because Arkham Origins was a Christmas-like themed Batman game. But if they want to beat the Christmas rush, Thanksgiving around that time would be the way for them to try to release the game. Also, I would love to see the multiplayer aspect still in this game, even though knowing them, they're probably going to remove it. But I would love to see it still in the game, because I think, especially now in 2022, multiplayer games, it's kind of like the hype. And plus, the multiplayer from Arkham Origins, I never got a chance to play it because the game was so buggy. So I would like for them to implement it somehow. But hell, even if they just give us a story, I'll be grateful. What do you guys think in the comment section? Let me know. Do y'all want a remaster? Do y'all not care? Let me know. I want to hear all your thoughts. And I would like to apologize one more time about this voiceover. I did not know my mic died on me while recording this reaction. Other reactions will be more up to par. I do apologize again.
First he's back in Arkham Origins, so it would make sense to put the spotlight back on it. Did you guys know that? It was. And I'm not saying Gotham Knights is going to fail at all, and I don't even know if those rumors are true. I'm excited for the game. So the leaks have stated that an Arkham Origins remaster will feature some additional features, but also cut some. There's reportedly going to be a photo mode in order to let you take some pretty screenshots, of course, share on social media, and there's going to be additional costumes as well. Now, some Reddit users have speculated there will be a costume based on Robert Pattinson's Batman. That makes sense. The Batman was also played as a younger version of the Dark Knight, although this is pure speculation, not confirmed, but I think it makes sense. The leaks have also stated that the multiplayer portion will be gone, which I think is a smart move as well. Nobody's going to be upset. The original release had...
I was just talking about that. He said nobody's going to be upset. I'm not going to be upset personally, but I would just love to play it. I just think we're in the multiplayer age just about, so it's like it would just make sense for them to give us something that we can do co-op or just multiplayer in general. And plus, it'd be refreshing to play something that's not a battle royale these days. That's just me.
this strange multiplayer mode that had you playing as either Batman or one of his villains, and you had to try to take each other out. It was like an early version of the asymmetrical multiplayer games that would become popular 5 years later. Friday the 13th, Dead by Daylight, stuff like that. But it was just too early for people to be interested, and even by Friday the 13th standards, it was weak. I don't think anybody's going to miss that. So that's a good idea. So, when is this all coming out?
I hope they still do it regardless. That's just me.
Well, that's where the news gets murky. Suicide Squad is set to release in either quarter 1 or 2 of 2023, so somewhere between January and June. It's not a whole lot of time for a game like this to drop. But with no official statement from WB or Rocksteady, it's hard to say how close to Suicide Squad this is going to drop. Now, some have speculated it would come out closer to Christmas, as Arkham Origins takes place on Christmas Eve, making it one of the few Christmas video games that I can think of. So the original game came out late October. Gave people time to pick it up, play it before the holiday season ended, which makes sense to do again in 2022. Now, remasters typically don't get a lot of fanfare or build-up because they're released to the public, so I wouldn't be shocked if WB announces the game or releases a trailer in August and then drops it in October or November. Now, as for the rest of the Arkham series, the Origins remaster is likely going to coincide with some kind of next-gen patch or re-release of the other games, in some way tie them into Suicide Squad. Maybe if you pre-order Suicide Squad, you get a free copy of Arkham Origins Remastered, or maybe you get some exclusive skins in the new game if you buy Origins. I don't know yet, but they're probably going to tie them together. Mark my words, it's smart marketing. So the biggest positive that will come from a remaster of Arkham Origins will be the bug fixes. Technical problems were honestly the biggest issue with the original release. They were a major reason why people didn't finish it. I mean, there was corrupt saves, pieces of the open world would drop you down into a bottomless pit after you fell through the floor. There were certain portions of the map that were impossible to get to, which made it literally impossible to finish some of the Riddler challenges or unlock some of the fast travel points. It crashed, I could go on and on. The combat was weirdly bugged in a way that would randomly drop your combo and break your lock for no reason. There's a lot. Arkham Origins had an excellent story, awesome presentation, but the bugginess, it was a huge turnoff, and I don't blame you if you put it down. The developers were unable to fix a lot of those bugs in the game due to them being pushed to finish the DLC and moving on to other projects. So interestingly, the Arkham Origins team is the same group that's currently making Gotham Knights, so you can take that as you will. Now, in closing, Origins doesn't deserve the flack it gets. Yes, the bugs deserve to be criticized, but I don't think it's fair to completely write the game off, and I definitely don't think WB should have shunned it the way they did. With the new Arkhamverse game around the corner, WB is going to do their best to revive this franchise, distract people from Gotham Knights if that's true, if it is going to underperform. Origins is the only Arkham game that hasn't been updated or remastered for 8th gen hardware or later. So, to me, makes total sense for a remaster to be pushed out, especially since the game story sets up the Suicide Squad for this universe. Are these leaks legit? I don't know. They don't come from any super high-level source like other leaks we talk about on the channel, but when you look at the details, it all makes perfect sense. I think it's entirely possible we get a remaster of Arkham Origins before the release of Suicide Squad. Now, with Gotham Knights going the direction it is, WB would be wise. I mean,
what you guys think in the comments? Do you want a remastered Batman game? Or, let's throw this out there. Would you want a brand new game by surprise? There was a rumor back in the day that they was working on a new Arkham game. Just saying.
distract us with other Batman games, and this is a perfect candidate. There you go. That's everything we know. Hopefully it ends up being true. We'll come back on this video and be like, oh my gosh, we were all geniuses. Or if it doesn't, we'll just move on to the next leak. I'll see you soon.
But there you have it, guys. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I will be kicking out more reactions. Again, I do apologize for the voiceover and the low volume. Peace.
I can't feel my face, it must be hard.